lunch by the lake. Whoa, I gotta be careful where I step here. My name is Linda Tilley, and I have the privilege of leading Moorelands Kids. And with me today is David, our camp director, also known by the kids as John-C. Thanks so much for joining us. We do need to let you know that this meeting is being recorded today. We need to save it for some others who couldn't join us. So we are recording it, and we wanted to let you know that. You know, the past 18 months during COVID has been all about being flexible and adapting to ever-changing situations. And here we are meeting with you online and at the lake. We thought your lunch break was a good time to connect, and we're really glad that you've joined us. As you can see, it is an absolutely beautiful day here. Many of you know this beautiful spot at Camp Front Beach. For some, it's about swimming lessons. For others, it's about Beach Blast, which is a crazy fun beach party on Friday afternoons. And for all, it means welcome to Moorelands. Because as campers approach Moorelands, staff call out, welcome to Moorelands. It's a supportive and warm message. And this year, we certainly have felt the support from you, our community. A win for us during COVID is strengthened relationships. Our communication has increased, and during this time of isolation, the bonds with our kids, their families, our donors, and our friends have been strengthened. We have truly been in this together. And as a community, you've let us know that our work is valued and important, and we are truly grateful. As we entered this summer and looked at our programming, we knew there were two key things that we needed to focus on. One, kids need kids. They need each other. And two, our families needed the program to be flexible. The timing needed to work for them. We have had an incredible summer. David, I'm just going to ask you to share some more details about the summer program, what the kids did and what we've learned.
I can definitely do that. So this summer, we increased our live cabin group times and live all camp games. We learned that these were the most valuable and meaningful for the kids from the feedback that we've gathered. We also learned how connected our families are to Moorelands kids. We experienced the importance of bringing camp into their homes by filming all of the activities, all of the skits, all of the videos right here on the island. Another way that we did that is we made available to every single child an activity kit. In this kit, we provided them with supplies and materials to be able to do the variety of activities that were available to them. As well, one of the things we've heard from kids about this kit is that they loved receiving a Moorelands Kids t-shirt. The staff team was trained in online program delivery, and some of those staff deliver program remotely in their homes. Some of those staff are still here with us on the island. We formed a caring online community this summer with the staff and kids. Our goal was to have 350 spaces filled this summer, and currently we are on track to exceed that goal. We learned that our community is strong, but we all miss being together here on the island. Let me tell you about a conversation with a camp parent. Our section heads, which are our supervisors at the camp, were making welcome phone calls. This is an opportunity to make that connection with families, answer questions, get them excited for camp, and most importantly, welcome them to their camp week that will be starting on Monday. As the section head was talking to our parent, they found out from the parent that there was one thing that they were very thankful for. The parent said to them, you know, I'm just so thankful for the decision you made this summer to make camp online. I cannot think about all of the different things about sending my child away, and in the end, you did what I know that Moorelands always does, which is choose safety. Here at Moorelands, as you know, our number one priority is always the safety of our community.
The board made the right and wise decision for our community, for our kids, the best for our kids, the best for our families. Is there hope for summer 2022 being a bit more normal? Yes, for sure. In fact, plans are underway right now. We want to have kids running around this beach next summer. We'd like to celebrate our summer with you. This next video will give you a glimpse of the 2021 program, and we will hear and we'll see what the kids were involved in and what they have to say about it.
I enjoyed all of the fun activities, meeting people, making new friends. I also learned how to make a map out of sticks.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Like, they made up a lot of games. They, like, when we were reading, they made it fun. Everything.
Thank you for all your support, for always keeping us in mind.
Today's habits and qualities are consider, understand others, and caring. So keep that in mind while doing this activity.
Show some respect, me pirates. You are not like this. We are respectful in our circle. Now, choose your response to what Sir Duke's question was and take your turns one at a time. Who's going first now?
Thanks to Camp, I got to make new friends and meet people and be able to express myself and be myself.
I love that because especially in like when we established our cabin rules, we were like, oh, we want to make this a place where people are not afraid to be themselves and like they can like be who they want to be. And it's just awesome that you said that because that's exactly what we wanted. So thank you for sharing that.
Thanks to camp, I learned how to make paper airplanes and I got to play werewolf but a different version. And I also like that we got materials.
I always try to like make my brother come because he's gonna go to grade 4. I always try to make him go to like say he should go there. And I always tell him how fun it is. He doesn't like to leave our mom. Thank you for like letting me have the opportunity to come to camp and have fun, because before that, as also like my brother, I never liked to leave my mom.
It's a very cool environment. You obviously meet a lot of cool people, experience some new events and activities, like did kayaking and paddleboarding for the first time there. And overall, you grow as a person there. And there's a lot of opportunities to grow as a leader there. And the food there is also pretty good. Thank you for everything that you have done. And I hope you stick around so that more kids could have the same opportunities that I have.
Thank you!
Well, we are clearly not at the beach. David, where are we?
We are now at our Hub Point Campfire Pit. Hub Point Campfire is one of the places on the island that we gather as a community. We have our community campfires here and our community chats at the beginning of every single week of camp. We thought this would be a really good place to open up the floor to our community for any questions or comments. To ask a question of Linda or I, all you need to do is put that question in the chat box. In order to do that, if you're on a laptop or desktop computer, you should see a button at the bottom of your Zoom screen that says chat. Click on that and you'll be able to type it in. If you're on a smartphone or a tablet device like an iPad, you'll need to tap more and then find the chat box through that.
While you're taking some time to put your questions in the chat or your comments to us, I want to tell you about saying that they love the t-shirts that the kids got in the activity kit. I was on a call with a parent last week. We were just talking about the fall, and she said to me, you know, I have tried to get my kids to wear those shirts this summer. I have tried, and they're just refusing. And I was thinking, wow, this is negative. And she said, they absolutely refuse because they want to save them for school. They were so proud of these shirts that they said they're not wearing them and using them in the summer. They want to go to school and show their friends what they did this summer. So I think that's just an incredible piece about how important this was to them and what it meant to them this summer.
I've got a question here. What have you been doing to ensure that the camp is safe for staff?
So, as I said, our number one priority is that safety, and we've been keeping up to date with all public health regulations and notices and guidelines. Every single day, the staff complete a COVID symptom check, and as well, when we first all came to the island, for the first 2 weeks, we were all masked and following very strict public health guidelines to create the bubble that we've now created at the camp in order to be able to be maskless. We've tried to stay outside as much as possible so that we can maintain that 2-meter distance. And as well, we actually have COVID rapid tests on site to test any staff who might need to leave the island for any purpose. And so our procedures are very robust, very, very researched, and we're making sure that anytime public health has new guidelines for us, we read them thoroughly and keep up to date.
You know, some of the research, we looked at some research going into this summer about best ways to support a child during this time. Can you share some of the learnings there, David?
Yeah, one of the things that the research seems to consistently tell us is the best for supports for children is to keep the familiar familiar. And what we mean by that is to make sure that when they're coming to camp, when they're coming to Moorelands Camp Lead On, which is what we call our virtual camp, they still get to see the camp. They still get to see the staff that they know. They still get to see the places that they love. And even sometimes during those online games or during cabin group time, when they see the different areas of camp, or for some of the cabin groups, the staff have even walked around the island in a tour. The kids have absolutely loved seeing this place.
I've got a question from Vicky. She says, what does the experience for the youth look like this year? Who would usually be working in as part of their training?
So, Vicky, I think you're specifically referring to our STEP program, which is our high school program. And the second week of that program, they get to do a job shadow experience where they're working with the kids. And so what we did this year is instead of coming up for 2 weeks of camp, we had 2 meetings each week for all 6 weeks. And for those last 2 weeks, they actually got to shadow in the online cabin groups. So they still got to interact with the kids and gain that valuable job experience. For our Ledge program, which is the year before, Tomorrow, which is Friday, they're going to be leading a special edition of our Festive Friday where they'll be leading the kids through different online games.
Thank you. We have another question here from Janet. She's asking if you have had any COVID cases this summer on site.
I'm very happy to report that we've had 0 COVID cases on site.
And 0 symptoms.
Yeah,
Really. And
0 symptoms.
I have another question here. Once the kids get back to camp on the island, will you be continuing with virtual programs as well?
I think that's something we're definitely looking at because it's something that we've been able to see that we're able to reach more kids. And specifically, one of the ways that I can tell you we will be doing virtual programs is through those Festive Fridays. For those of you who haven't seen a Festive Friday or aren't really sure what it is, at the end of the month, every month in the fall and winter, we have an online meetup over Zoom where we play games and we do different physical activities and stuff like that. And we found that doing that online makes it easier for the families and the kids to connect to that program because they don't have to travel anywhere in Toronto and worry about those things. So we'll definitely be continuing that virtual aspect of our camp.
When do you think you will be able to have in-person programs again?
Well, we're certainly hopeful for 2022. And I think as we listen to all the government directives around get vaccinated, keep everyone safe, this is only going to help promote camp in person next summer. As David's alluded to, we always have to follow our public health directives, which we will continue to do. I think for all of us who work with kids and know the importance of their developing years, we want them to be able to get back to school and do that safely. And then we can build on that to a more normal experience. We're not sure what 2020 will look like, but we sure are counting on it being in person.
Amazing. Before we ask the last question, is there anyone else who would like to ask a question before we get to our last one? Please type in the chat if you have one more question for us. Where is the camp at again?
So the camp is located on beautiful Kawagama Lake, which is just outside of Dorset, Ontario. We're on what we call an island, and you've heard me lovingly refer to an island. It is technically a peninsula, but because we're boat access only and because we have a very, very small bridge that accesses the mainland, we lovingly refer to it as Moorelands Camp Island.
And do you have a CIT program?
So our CIT program would be what I refer to as the high school program called STEP. And we also have what some other camps call an LIT program, which is called LEDGE. So they're very similar programs. And because all of our programming at camp is focused on leadership development, they're slightly different than what you would see in a normal CIT program because it's taking that next step into becoming an advanced service leader at the camp.
And is there a way / can we obtain a copy of the program?
I'm guessing that you're asking about the different program curriculum and things like that. And what I would suggest is if you send an email to info@morelands.ca with your specific request, then that'll be able to get to me and I can follow up with you about all those details.
All right, we have 2 questions left. One is Moorelands government property or do we own the island?
We own the island and have since the 70s.
And our last question is, do you hire these youth who participate in the CIT or LIT program? Do these youth transition into employment?
So we do hire the youth who take our advanced leadership high school programs. This summer, actually, some of the staff who are working in the virtual programs are former campers at camp. In a normal summer, or a typical summer rather, we make sure to set aside certain spaces on our staff team because the youth who come through our high school programs make amazing staff at the camp and we love to have them here. as well as a part of being on that staff team, whether they're a former camper or someone who found us online or through a job fair or multiple other ways, we always make sure to offer additional professional development to the staff that they can then put on their resumes, either to continue in the camping industry, to continue working with kids, or to continue in any industry that they decide to go into. So I want to thank you all for all of your questions, and I hope that you got to have a great sneak peek into what life on the island and life at camp has been like this summer. As I said, Hub Point Campfire is where we gather as a community, and our favorite activity to do here is our campfires that we have throughout the week. At every campfire at Moorelands Camp, we end our program the exact same way with a campfire song that's called The Fire is Low. Today, we're going to end our lunch by the lake with The Fire is Low as well. And before we do that, I want to express to you my heartfelt thank you for your continued support and for joining us today.
And I too want to reiterate that heartfelt thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. Earlier, we talked about our hope for 2022, having kids here to make this place come alive. And you're going to hear many organizations saying that they will be back in 2022. Well, throughout COVID, we have been connected to our community, to our kids, their families, our donors, and the others who support us. In fact, we have strengthened those relationships with many. So we won't be saying that we'll be back in summer 2022, because honestly, we never left. Thank you for joining us.
The fire is low, it's time to go. The embers are all that we see. Though we must part deep down in our hearts, our friendships will always be strong and sure, and we'll endure together. Let's promise one thing, that come what may, there will be when once more again we will say, the fire is low, it's time to go. The embers are all that we see. Though we must part deep down in our hearts, our friendships will always be strong and sure, and we'll endure together. Let's promise one thing, that come what may, there will be a day when once more again we will sing.